All right, so the problem right now in your business, the true problem is that there's actually no priority. Typically what there is there's buy data, there's load it into a dialer, and there's market to it. It might be getting tax delinquent data and marketing to it. It might be getting probates and marketing to it. It might be getting high equity and just marketing to it. There's no priority, though, of moving that data through some form of gauntlet, right? Through some sort of flow, some sequence, and associating that marketing flow and sequence directly to your budget, directly to your marketing dollars. Well, that's what this is going to fix. That's what this tier pyramid, let's see, what do I call it? The priority pyramid, gave it a fancy name, is going to talk about. So I'm going to use the yellow to highlight throughout this to show you guys the importance of the tiers. So starting at tier 3 at the very top, this is our least priority data. Typically, it's data that just is base data. So what's base data? It's kind of like that singular data. It might be high equity, it might be tax delinquent, it's just base data, all right? Most often, though, this is high equity data. This is unknown data. This is data that is revolved around having no other vexation besides the fact that, hey, they're better than 90% of other Americans and they have equity in their property, okay? That's tier 3 data. What you're going to do with tier 3 data typically is just do bulk marketing, right? We're talking like blasting through the dialer. You're not really caring about doing too much focus on it. Why? Because, well, it's just kind of like you're marketing to them for the hope that they want to sell. There's no reason why they need to sell. There's no time constraint. There's no money constraint. There's nothing like that, okay? Tier 2 data is where most people in the REISift community and most investors are really starting to move towards, and that is base data with vexations, okay? So this is typically what people hear as stacked data. It doesn't necessarily have to be stacked. It could be where it's, let's say high equity and then it ends up being vacant, right? That's a vexation, vacancy. It could be where it's tax delinquent and then it could be out of state, right? Really what you're talking about is 2 identifiers, okay? Being underneath your tier 2 data. With tier 2 data, you can be doing bulk, and bulk, the only people that should be doing bulk under tier 2 data is the people that realistically have the bandwidth to do so. Same thing with tier 3. Like if you can't have three callers minimum, 4 callers even, like you really have no reason to be marketing to tier 3 data. Probably, what you should be doing is focusing more on tier 2 data and doing the proper sequential marketing of that tier 2 data. Under tier 2 data, you also can do the Sensei Flow. So depending on how much tier 1 data you have, you could, and depending on how many employees you have, you can definitely work through tier 2 data. Vacant out-of-state homeowners is tier 2 data, and you could definitely do the Sensei Flow against that data set. So tier 1 data, though, what is tier 1 data? Tier 1 data is where you have some base data, some vexation data, and a +1 focus, right? I'm kind of a nerd, so I like +1 identifiers, like +1 health, strength, so on. Well, when you add +1 focus onto your data set, what ends up happening is you add +1 or +100, I don't even know, extra money saved and dollars made, all right, into your business. So we're going to continue to focus on as much +1s as we can. You can have, +3 focus. You can have as many identifiers as you possibly want under tier 1 data, as long as it's not less than 3. All right. So for example, this could be records that are out of state, probate, and vacant properties. Okay. So they're out of state. You got the fact that they got a death in the family, and then you have the fact that the property is vacant. So that shows that there is probably no spouse, for example, living in the property, something like that. Okay. So we want to have that identifier. Those are the type of individuals we really want to make sure that we're going through the proper sequential marketing and we're focusing on those individuals with the Sensei Flow. Okay. The other type of data set that sits in tier 1 is our leads. Okay, these people already said they're interested in selling. We don't have to continue to market to them no more. They've already said they're interested in selling, so therefore they fit in tier 1 data. The Sensei Flow is also a methodology in order to follow up with your leads. It's a matter of selecting records and properly calling them and going through them and doing everything you're supposed to do, which includes lead management. Okay, so that is the tier system, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and that's the breakdown of the type of marketing you should be doing to those different data sets, all right? So is that to say that you can't market to tier 1 and tier 2 data at the same time? For example, if a record is on 3, right? If the record is on 3 of these identifiers, then they're gonna also have 2, right? Naturally, if they had 3, there's 2 underneath of 3, 2, 3, 4. All right, so obviously, if you're blast calling and you're doing bulk marketing to tier 2 data, you're also bulk marketing to tier 1 data. All right, I get this statement all the time. But the thing is that you don't know, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get the answer that you need with that tier 1 data now or in a month from now when that campaign finally reaches that prospect in that tier 1. Okay, so we want to pluck those out and we want to market to those individuals externally to our bulk marketing campaigns to make sure that we're doing everything that's needed for those prospects, and then next month they won't be in that same cycle no more. They'll probably be in something else, which you'll learn more about here in a little bit, okay? So this is what we call the priority pyramid, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, focusing with the most motivated prospects, the most hot prospects, the people that really need you, your leads, and working up those tiers as your budget grows, as your team grows. You can start worrying about hitting more and more data. And this is the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to the REISift community and everything else, is that they say that, well, they don't do any bulk data. They don't do any bulk marketing. Well, that's not true at all. We just do the proper sequential flow. For example, in the Sensei Flow, you're going to learn how you should reach out and market to one individual. We just put a process around it to be able to streamline it, to be able to do it to 5, 10, 15, 20, 50,000, 10,000 individuals, whether we're doing the Sensei Flow or the bulk marketing. But with bulk marketing and predictive dialing and blast SMSing, the problem is that there's a lot of stuff in the middle happening. In between you connecting with one person, it's already tried to dial 2, 3, 4, 5 of those individuals. You're popping up as spam more often. You don't know what numbers are dead necessarily or not dead. We've went back through predictive dialers and called through the dead numbers right after the campaign finished, and they were all good. It's because that's essentially what it is. It's predictive. It's guessing. It's not guaranteed. When you got someone on the phone, they're click to call and they're doing the Sensei Flow, you know, because you call it and it's there. You know what happened. You know exactly what's going on with that record. You know it's been cold called. You know it's been SMS'd. You know that you've sent direct mail. But you guys are about to know exactly how we do the flow. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Sensei Flow. So go ahead and grab your coffee, grab your notepad, and let's go ahead and get prepared to really focus down and take some notes, because the Sensei Flow is something you're really going to want to pay attention to. All